Okay, hey there, it's Kim Willis again. Okay, the fine art of directed conversation. What's that about? Well, look, number one, you need to be good at conversation if you're going to be an effective marketer. And I could be talking about voice-based conversations, like on the phone or something like that, on Skype, face-to-face, or even text-based conversations, such as on Facebook Messenger, okay? The fine art of directed conversation. We're not just talking about conversation, the ability to open a conversation and to control it. Not just talking about conversation, just mindless conversation. It needs to be directed. Now, if you're wanting to have a conversation for business purposes, well, obviously you're going to have it directed in a certain way, aren't you? So that you'll hopefully, have an outcome that is pleasing to you. Either you'll get yourself a lead, or you'll convert a lead into some business, and some income, some sales. Look, I believe that everybody should practice the art of conversation anyway, even if they're not in business. You'll get to think more of other people rather than yourself all the time. Some people just love the sound of their own voice, whereas I get a lot of enjoyment from listening to others, and just by asking them pointed questions, etc. Now, I'll give you an example. Last night I was in a DVD shop and I was wanting to get some movies transferred from a disc to a stick, okay, so I could use it on my laptop. And they were going to do it on the spot for me, but there was a bit of a delay. Normally it might have taken 10 minutes, but the files were bigger than normal and they weren't loading to the stick as quickly as normal. So there was a time period there where we had to wait until the stick was completed, until the upload and the transfer to the stick was being completed. So some conversation ensued, right? Now, we're in Cambodia, right? And I know there's an election next year. And I also know that the ruling party is very authoritarian. They have a nominal democracy, not a full-out authoritarian state like, say, Vietnam is. But I do know that the ruling party is they do have elections, as I said. They're going to do everything they can to squash the opposition and prevent them from winning, even though, a lot of people believe that the opposition would win in a fair election, because the ruling party has been in power for 30 years. The Prime Minister has been in power for 30 years. It's a long time. And of course, power can be extremely corrupting and addictive for people like that. Now, I didn't want to start talking politics in any aggressive way, because I wasn't sure about the manager's, whilst I was waiting for this stick to be data to be transferred to the stick, I wasn't sure about her position. Maybe she's shy about talking about the election next year, etc. So I had to kind of win her trust. So I started asking a series of innocuous questions first, non-threatening questions. And then ultimately I was able to ask her her opinion about the election next year. Now, the point of the matter is this, and she did start talking in a reasonably candid way. The point of the matter is this: if I just come straight out with it and start asking very direct questions about a sensitive topic like this in a semi-authoritarian state like this, she might have been very nervous about my motives, etc. So confidence is everything, and confidence had to be established. So there was no business motive there from me. There wasn't any business purpose, but I did have the purpose in that. I did have a purpose in that I wanted to find out what her opinion was about the election next year. And I'm not going to share that here. It's not appropriate. But the point of the matter is, I got to the point as a result of asking a series of pointed and directed questions. So, same thing applies if your purpose is business. You're cultivating somebody and you want to direct them to a certain point in the process, but you're not going to just come straight out and say, hey, you want to buy my product, or you want to buy my service, or you want to join my thing, my business, or whatever. You don't do that. That's what novices do. That's what amateurs do. That's what, well, marketing Neanderthals do. So you don't do that. That's not smart, because you're going to lose people. You're going to lose them very fast. Instead, what you want to do is you want to build confidence and trust. This is a seduction process. It's not rape, right? It's a bit crude, but it's a fact. It is a seduction process. And we want to win the seduction game. And the way to do it is to win someone's confidence. And the way to do that is to ask a series of questions. And you start with innocuous questions first, non-threatening questions, kind of harmless questions, conversational type questions, but they all have a purpose. And each new question builds on the last. Okay? So it's non-threatening, it's a pleasant way of doing business, and then after getting to a more advanced state in the proceedings, you might get to a point, let's say it's a prospect, they're not yet a lead. You might end up by saying, hey, seeing you thanks for sharing something about yourself and your situation and the fact that you've got this little problem that you want to have it fixed, and there's a clue there. Asking questions about specific problems or pain points is critical, but you don't come straight out and do it. That's what the amateurs do. You must win confidence first. But after running a series of questions past people, if it ends up that they do reveal I've got to be careful here, someone will just snatch my phone, because it's it does happen in places like this. But if the end point for you is to say, well, look, thank you for sharing that, and I understand that concern that you've got, that little pain point that you're experiencing at the moment. Thanks for sharing that. If I could help you maybe solve that problem one way or another, would you be open to having a look at something? No strings attached, of course, but would you be open to at least having a look at something? All right. So now you've reached your intended destination, haven't you? As a result of asking a series of questions, directed questions, having a directed conversation, listening for the answers. And by the way, you can do this even with text-based messaging on, say, Facebook Messenger. And then you get to the point where they say, well, in many instances, if you've got the right person, they'll say, yeah, I'm open to having a look. Yeah, okay, right, great. Well, listen, I've got a video, or I've got a webinar coming up, or I've got this, I've got that. Let me give that to you now. I'll give you the details now, and then I'd appreciate your feedback if nothing else. See, it's conversational, not high pressure. You're not a hitman. You're not a mafia hitman. You're a conversationalist. You're a marketing-oriented conversationalist. Okay. So I hope you got some value from that today. And by the way, if you haven't joined my Facebook group, The Laptop Lifestyler, why don't you do that? Because we talk about all these sorts of topics, and there's a big one that we talk about, which is tribe building, and I'm sure you'd love that. Audience building, tribe building, building a sense of community, generating business by building warm audiences. Fantastic topic. And part of that, of course, is to do with conversation, messaging, communication skills. Fantastic stuff. It's a no spam group. Okay, ATM. Yeah, ATM. Good. Me happy.
ATM, brother.
Okay, he got it. Yeah. Okay, the Laptop Lifestyler group. Yeah, connect up with that, and you'll learn more about this stuff, and won't cost you anything. Okay, this is Kim Willis. Bye for now.